Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter, Austin Brubaker, we finally got our schedules together. We got good health, and good enough health at least, where we can get back to a live show here as Eric Swan is shoving, Kyle Nevin's hitting balls for the Loons, and it was a glorious day watching the Dodgers win the series against the Padres. Austin, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing great, Casey. First off, it is absolutely wonderful to be able to hear from you again, my friend, to be able to do a show together. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to do that. It's been a little while since you've been able to do that. But as soon as you posted that video, I think it was yesterday morning, because I was doing the show on Monday, did my own show, didn't know what exactly was going on because I want to make sure that you were as healthy as you possibly could be and weren't ideally thinking about it. So I was in my mind, I was thinking, okay, if he's going to be out this week, what exactly do I have to do to try to put a bunch of different shows together? And then all of a sudden posted the video yesterday. It was great to hear your voice. Yeah. I know everybody was super excited to be able to hear from you again. That's first of all, most important here. So it's great to see you again, interact with you, enjoy talking to a lot of the people at Dodgers Dogs, and especially when you have a game like what happened today and a series like what happened today, because I think this is emblematic onto the character of this Dodgers team, perhaps some of the issues that the Dodgers are having, but also what this team is capable of. And to go into the heart of San Diego against a team that desperately wants to beat the Dodgers, I think it's very evident that they are trying to reach up to the Dodgers standard, to go in there and to still go and win those games in the way that they were able to win those two games. I think was really exciting. The game today was fun, fascinating, intense at times, but the Dodgers were able to play the better form of baseball today. So it was very, very fun day to be a Dodger fan.
So you're developing what's called a team, not just a group of individuals. I still think the Padres are a conglomeration of a group of individuals. When I see Xander Bogaerts right now, I see an individual. When I see Fernando Tatis Jr., I still see an individual. When I see Manny Machado, I see an individual. What I mean by that is, like Manny Machado rolls over the 3-0 pitch that's on the outer half, you don't even swing at that pitch. You don't swing, first of all, at the bases loaded 3-0. Anyways, I don't care if your name is Manny Machado. You damn sure don't swing at a pitch that's on the outer half. You only swing if it's like literally the perfect pitch. So there's only one reason why Manny Machado would do that, and that is he doesn't trust the guy behind him. So that tells me they have a group of guys they have 3 or 4 really nice players that don't trust anybody else. And so guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and even Luis Ariz, who popped up. I mean, that was like the most least likely outcome possible for Luis Ariz. You could see he felt like he had to be the one to do it, because about the time they get after Manny Machado, I think they feel like they run out of options and they don't trust each other. Versus you've got a Dodger squad on the other side that's like, okay, we have Ben Kasparius and Lou Trevino and maybe Justin Robleski. Boys, this is what we got, okay? So having said that, it's like Coach Holt says, now what? We still have to win the game. We can't just say, well, we don't have enough players, we lost, we're going to lose. We can't say that. We still have to find a way to win the game. So what you have to do is you have to play airtight. You have to trust each other. You have to pass the baton. You have to hit the ball to right field whenever there's 2 strikes like Will Smith did. You got to hit the ball to center field like Teo Hernandez did for his home run. And you got to make all the right decisions if you're the manager. So we talk about it all the time. And I know people roll their eyes because they're like, well, the Dodgers have the highest payroll. What the hell are you talking about winning on the margins? If you need an example of what winning on the margins is, go back and watch today's game. The Padres were terrible on the margins. Every marginal aspect of the game, they failed tremendously. And every marginal aspect of the game for the Dodgers, they succeeded, and that's why LA won this game. It was a game of a win on the margins.
It very much was a game of win on the margins. So I was actually, during part of the game, actually mowing the lawn at the house that we have over here. So I was listening to it on the radio, and there was one moment that perhaps gets undercovered because it's kind of a little bit of a routine play. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about this because I think this shows more of the attention to detail that the Dodgers were able to show in this. So early in the game, I believe it was the second run for the Padres. There was a fly ball to center field. Now, if you remember earlier in the game, Andy Pages made a crucial play in which he threw the ball to home plate, got the runner out at home base. It was a very big moment, allowed Ben Kasparius to stay in the game, allowed him to limit the damage to 1 run early in the game.
He still walked the freaking 9-hole, Ben. Come on, dude.
Yes.
I say that with the greatest of love.
That's Ben, a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But you have Andy Pages go out there, make an impressive 99-mile-per-hour throw, tied for the fastest thrown ball by a Dodgers outfield in the StatCast era. Great play by him, allowed the Dodgers to prevent a run on the field. Later in the game, Andy Pages gets another opportunity, although it's a much more difficult play. And instead of him throwing it to home base, throws it to second base to prevent the runner from first to getting into scoring position.
Yes.
Why do I bring that up? It is that attention to detail and the smart level of baseball plays that the Dodgers played with that the Padres, during certain opportunities, were not able to take advantage of. Like, as you mentioned, the Manny Machado swinging 3-0 when the Dodgers are falling apart, walking a bunch of guys with the bases loaded. Shout out to Anthony Banda, who was able to escape that jam that was inherited from Michael Kopech. Great job by him. But I think it was that attention to detail that the Dodgers were able to play with, combined with the fact that this team, the Dodgers, have a lot of talent, and they have something that the Padres do not have right now, and that's the ability to hit the long ball. Yeah. It came from 2 players that you probably wouldn't have going into this game expected. Yes, I know Teoscar Hernandez has the big name as far as the Dodgers, but recently, man, it's been a struggle for Teoscar Hernandez. And you look at some of the numbers himself, they have cratered quite a bit since he has returned from the injured list. So we need that moment. And then also for Michael Conforto to start it out, 2 of the players that you wouldn't really expect were able to drive in runs. And the Dodgers' ability to hit for power, which I believe they are second in baseball in home runs. San Diego's in like 25th. In home runs. There's a vast difference between these two that ultimately led to the advantage of the Dodgers. They were able to execute. They were able to make some of the small plays, and they were able to win today in what was a very big series, because if they lost today, I believe they would have been tied in the division.
Yeah. Well, with the Padres, they could have the
Giants.
The Giants could have overtaken them with the Giants coming in this weekend, because they're going to beat the Rockies. The Rockies are not going to beat the Giants. And so you're not going to get any help there. I apologize that my voice isn't normal. I'm on all these meds, and so sometimes it's not that I'm weak. It's just it makes my voice weak and that kind of deal. So we're going to get through that, and then what's going to happen is Saturday I'm going to actually get diagnosed with my ultrasound on my it's heart issues at the moment. And so they've drained like 16 pounds of fluids off of like my stomach and my face and everything. So we're going to get the ultrasound Saturday. We're going to get diagnosed on Saturday. And then I'm going to see the doctor the following Saturday. Then we're going to put our plan in place as far as what the procedures will be to get it fixed permanently. So I'm back for now because I feel good. So there may be some bobbing and weaving that's coming here in the next couple of weeks. But I'm actually excited because I feel better. I felt so bad for 6 months with this whole thing going on. I'm just glad I'm getting down to the bottom line of what's going on. So if I sound a little weak, you're just going to have to deal with that for quite a while at this moment. But I enjoy doing this, so I'm going to keep coming on. But again, this is a situation to where the Dodgers, again, they find ways. It's like they know they have to. So I'll say this: when we said this this morning with Coach Hold, the reason why they had Tanner Scott available today, Alex Vesia, Anthony Banda, Michael Kopech, whoever they needed, was because Matt Sauer took one on the chin yesterday. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a really weird statement, but in the situation the Dodgers are in, the worst case scenario for the Dodgers is that they lose 3-2, like the Padres did a couple of days ago. Because if you lose 3-2, then you've shot your bullet with Tanner Scott, you've shot your bullet with Alex Vesia, you've shot your bullet with Anthony Banda, and 2 months ago, well then you just go to your A-team bullpen. You go to your second level of bullpen guys. There is no second level. So the way this is going right now, when the Dodgers lose, they need to lose big. And they need to know they're going to lose the game by about the 5th inning, because they need to punt that thing down the road to save all their pitching, to be in a position to win all the games that they can win. I know that's a very weird statement. It's not one that sits well with fans. But the reason why the Dodgers won 2 out of 3 games in this series is because they actually got their asses kicked in the second game, and they lost nothing. They lost absolutely no pitching whatsoever, and they had all their bullets ready to win the 2 games they needed. I know, again, that sounds weird. It sounds counterintuitive. But when you're thin, that's actually how things work.
And especially when you're thin both on the starting pitching side, and then that carries forward with the bullpen side. Starting pitching is really where the thinness of this, or where this team is at right now. You're talking about Yoshi Yamamoto, you talk about Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, and then it's a Justin Robleski and now a Ben Kasparius. Guys like that are throwing into the mix. Matt Sauer was in there as well. Your bullpen has also been overtaxed. You have a bunch of short inning relief guys, not a whole lot of long relief guys as part of the bullpen, and those guys are getting a lot of use, and that cannot happen through the course of the regular season, which means you're going to have to rely on the Lou Trevinos. You're going to have to rely upon the Matt Sauers. And yes, it did not go well for Matt Sauer yesterday, but he did exactly what he needed to do yesterday and put the Dodgers in a position, weirdly enough, even though he got blown up yesterday, to where the Dodgers could take advantage of the game that they had today, because then all options were open. If it was a close loss yesterday, you're probably talking about Justin Robleski going down the mound and starting.
You're losing yesterday and today. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
If you'd have thrown Alex Vesta, Anthony Bonda, and Tanner Scott yesterday trying to win a 1-run game, you lose that game, you're losing today too.
Which is so weird, because this seems to be something that this team, when they are down on starting pitchers, seems to have to do. You date this back even to the postseason last year, and this is something that unfortunately they had to do because they were limited by the starting pitching that they had. When you're limited by the starting pitching, which right now I think I've described it as the Dodgers are in a stall mode with their pitching, particularly with these starting pitchers.
For a month or month and a half now.
Yes, and they're going to have to continue to be with that as they evaluate where guys are at. When you're in a stall mode, you have to take advantage of games that are available for you to win, which I think was so important for the Dodgers to win the game on Monday and to win the close game today, because these are the games that you have to take advantage of when you don't have a lot of guys that are available for you to have starters. And even though it was an embarrassing loss yesterday, you will take one embarrassing loss and 2 wins if you're the Dodgers where you are at right now.
So which number is bigger, 1 or 2?
The 2 is bigger.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's 16-0 or 2-1, 1 loss, as Michael's saying here, this is exactly right, Michael. Michael K., you could not be more spot on. 1 loss, Austin, it equals exactly how many losses? 1 loss.
Just 1 loss.
Unless you burn all of your bullpen and leave you with nothing to go to the next day. What the Dodgers don't have the depth to do is to make 1 loss turn into 3, because they fired too many bullets trying to win a game that they probably couldn't win anyways. Now they've left themselves too thin to win the next 3 games. Dave Roberts and the front office has done a magical job to this point. What Michael's saying here, making 1 loss only equal 1 loss. Now, I know that sounds overly simplified, but when you peel that onion, it's really a complicated thing. And they've just said, hey, people are bitch and moan all you want, get embarrassed all you want. We're getting our asses kicked tonight, but 1 loss is going to equal 1 loss, and that's the way we're going to go about it. And they've done a magical job doing that.
Yep. Again, got to give credit to Matt Sauer for wearing it, for pitching as long as he did during the outing that he had, and providing a little bit of length for the Dodgers, allowing them to be able to rest the bullpen today. The bullpen was able to come out, and it wasn't perfect all the time. Obviously, Michael Kopech, not ideal when you walk 3 straight hitters. Ben Kasparius, not ideal when he walks the 9-hitter with the bases loaded. But overall, they were able to execute, do their job, and their offense was able to provide enough run support. And the Dodgers go home with a series victory against the San Diego Padres, a statement that right now, with the state of where these teams are at and with the heat that is between these 2 teams, to do that in San Diego, you'll take that every single time.
Huge. And I totally agree with Sandman logic. Ugly wins, especially when you're in. Now, sometimes you can win ugly, and as a coach, you're going, you know what, and this is going to sound even more weird. There have been multiple times in my coaching career where I've gone, you know what, we need to go ahead and get our asses kicked. We're playing like shit. None of these kids are taking any of this seriously. Things are coming easy to them. And you know what? Whenever we get up against the good teams, we play like this, we're going to get our asses kicked. So you know what? We need to get our asses kicked before we get to those good teams. There are times to where you're playing ugly and still winning against lesser competition, to where as a manager, you're like, you know what? We just need to get our asses kicked. I need to get the attention of my guys, and I need to be able to make the statement. I've been telling you, if you continue to play like this, you're not going to beat good teams. There are times where ugly wins are counterproductive, but you said it just a minute ago. The Dodgers are in stall mode. They're just trying to keep afloat till about August, till they can get things sorted, maybe get the trade deadline situation to where they can get some reinforcements, get some guys healthy, that kind of deal. They are in stall mode till the trade deadline. I mean, I think that may be a little bit too dramatic to say. I don't think it is, though, because if you look, we're going to get into some of the AAA depth. I guess you can go get guys who have been about the waiver wire, like Luke Trevino, or maybe, but really the real enforcements aren't coming until you get your guys off of injury back, and then you maybe hit the trade deadline, that kind of thing. That's a long ways away. So you're in trade, you're in that stall mode that you talked about, and so in that stall mode, ugly wins are just as good as pretty wins. You don't care how you win. You just win ugly, you win pretty, you win any way you can when you're in this kind of mode that the Dodgers are in right now. And I'll say this, the one way that the Dodgers, so what we're talking about now is getting your ass kicked on the nights where you get your ass kicked. What actually needs to happen to get you through a patch like this is it needs to be the opposite. There needs to be some nights to where your offense goes off like twice a week and scores 15 runs instead of giving up 16 runs. Your offense scores 16 runs, and you're going down staff with a Matt Sauer because you're winning the game by 10 and not losing the game by 10. That's actually what needs to happen. That's whenever you know the Dodgers will really be able to hit another one of those winning streak type situations.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. You need those games like what we saw a couple weeks ago against the Yankees where they just demolished them. That allows them, again, similar situation to when you're losing bad, to be able to use some of the arms that are perhaps questionable as far as whether they would be on the as part of the
down
team.
Staff. Call it down staff.
Yeah, down staff arms. That are part of the team. So, I think with this run that the Dodgers have right now, they very much are in stall mode. It is going to be it's going to be trying to fit the pieces of the puzzle as best as they possibly can while they have some of their top line pitching pieces that are not part of the equation right now. Now, it does sound like Ben Kasparius is going to be making his next appearance as a starter, which now that they have both Michael Kopech and Kirby Yates back from injury, that's a couple.
They don't have Michael Kopech, right? He's off injury. They don't have him back yet.
That is a fair point after the equation today. Yeah. But he is on the roster. Tanner Scott is also pitching significantly better than what it was. You feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the arms that you have towards the back end of the bullpen. Now Ben Kasparius sounds like, at least during the interim time, could be making a few more starts or get some of those bulk innings at the start of the games, which I think is probably necessary where they are at right now. And then we'll see what happens with the rest of the pitching staff. But that's the biggest question that is happening over the course of the next month and a half or so as we lean up to the trade deadline. Because ideally, the Dodgers, and they've made this implication that they don't really want to make any moves at the trade deadline, or at least that would be ideal. And you look at the talent that they have. If they're healthy, it would be great, and they wouldn't necessarily have to. If you get Blake Snell, if you have Shohei Ohtani, if Tyler Glasnow was able to come back, then you don't really need that stuff. But can they afford to take that chance? I think will be determined by what they see over the course of the next couple of weeks, because this is going to be crucial, and they're going to have to make some important decisions, because right now, with the starting pitching staff that they would enter into October, I'd be terrified.
Yeah. So don't buy into the trade deadline talk, because here's kind of what I'm telling you. If your front office and your manager comes in and goes, dang, man, we need to trade for somebody. I mean, what we got right now ain't worth a damn, man. I mean, I can't wait to the trade deadline because what we have in that room right now is not good enough. What kind of a message are you sending to your guys, right? I mean, So the message you want to send to your guys is, no, man, we're good. I mean, we're the Dodgers. It doesn't matter how many injured, 14 starter, whatever, 14 pitchers on the IL. The guys in the room right now are good enough to win a World Series. Period. End of discussion. Hell no, we don't need to go to the trade deadline. As a leader, that's how you approach that with your guys. And as soon as you get into the closed door with Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts, you're like, did I sell that well enough? It's one of those type of deals because in the back of your mind, you damn well know that you need more pitching. I mean, and the players aren't stupid either, but you have to show leadership. You have to show confidence. You have to show your guys. I believe that we can win with whatever's in the room right now. A World Series tomorrow, I would go to battle with every single one of you. You can't make statements otherwise. So I don't believe necessarily that the trade deadline type of stuff as far as that goes. But in terms of pitching, the reason why it makes so much sense to move Ben Kasparius to the starting role, one is he's always been a starter. Two is he has two elite pitches, okay? Two, not one. So guys with one elite pitch, good relievers. Guys with two elite pitches, they can go through lineups multiple times. So you have an elite fastball for Ben Kasparius with the 2,600 RPMs. You have an elite slider with 3,000 RPMs. You have two elite pitches. That is a starter's mix. Then you're mixing in the curveball that he can flip for, just kind of the occasional strike to keep hitters off his fastball. And then whatever else he wants, whatever type of breaking ball that he's invented that week. He could maybe even a changeup here now and then. But he has two elite pitches. That is a starter's mix. Number one, that's why he needs to be a starter. Number two is the Dodgers need starting pitching help, and he is the best available guy. He's better than anybody that Oklahoma City has right now. And, hey, I love Landon. He's better than Landon Knack. I love Nick Frasso. He's better than Nick Frasso. I love everybody in Oklahoma City, and I have to look at them in the face, but I also have to be honest with my Dodgers dogs. Ben Kasparius is the best option you got versus anything you have in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Jackson Ferris is struggling. Jared Karros is struggling. Peter Hubeck, Chris Campos, who's throwing tonight, aren't ready. So that's reason number two why Ben Kasparius has to go to the starting rotation. And then reason number three, your three lefties. Tanner Scott, Alex Vesey, and Anthony Bonda for the last, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, have been simply fantastic. So you need a guy less. You already have those three guys that are throwing the ball very well. So, and then you have Lou Trevino, who's done a good job. Mm-hmm. So what you actually need is the guy in the front end. And so just situationally, you have relievers that are actually pitching really well that then give you the ability to put Ben Kasparius in a starting role. So this totally makes sense. I love it. And then Justin Robleski can kind of come in and be that swing guy. And let's go.
Yeah, no, let's go. I think that's absolutely right. I think this is a role that obviously fits Ben Kasparius with what he's done throughout his entire career. It's a role that is very desperately needed by the Dodgers, and Ben Kasparius has stepped up to every challenge this season for the Dodgers and has thrived during those challenges. I have no doubt that he's going to go out there and give the Dodgers some innings as much as they're able to stretch them out. Might be a little bit of a slower stretched out. I think today they were thinking 45 pitches. I think got to 50 something today. So it might be a little bit of a slower stretch out for him. But man, he's capable of doing this, and the Dodgers desperately need it. And you mentioned his pitch mix. Really solid right now. He's going to be able to do a lot of really, really good things for this organization. And he right now is the best. And until maybe an Emmett Sheehan is ready, really the only really solid option that the Dodgers have right now that's been performing really well at the major league level. So I'm excited for Ben Kasparius. I think there's going to be a lot of good things that come from this.
Totally agree. And then just the grit and then just the clutch hitting. I mean, hell, I think like in the seventh inning, the Dodgers only had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and then they got hits. Teo Hernandez gets a hit. Will Smith gets a hit. So when you look at the game today, it simply comes down to this. The Dodgers won on the margins. They didn't make the mistakes. Dave Roberts made all the right decisions. That started with yesterday with Matt Sauer, okay? All those decisions were made correctly by your management. Your players came through whenever they had a chance to score runs, Will Smith and Teo Hernandez, no doubt about that. And then the Padres didn't. They pushed all the wrong buttons. They panicked. They got thrown out at home. They swung at 3-0 pitches. They popped up with guys that don't normally pop up. And then the hit to Will Smith, they left a left-hander in to face a right-hander, Will Smith. I mean, they made all the wrong decisions. So I think it's as simple as you can put it down to that. And I think whenever you look at that, you throw that into what's exciting to me about that is, typically speaking, when one team, some people would call it a choke. I don't like that word, but I will say you could tell that the Padres were pressing. And so why do teams press? It's because you feel like either the other team has your number. Like sometimes you know you're better than the other team, but you're like, damn it, every time we play these guys, something stupid happens and they end up beating us. So either you feel like the other team has your number, or you feel like the other team is better, or sometimes you feel like the other team is better and they have your number. That feels like number 3 to me for the Padres, which is why they did not handle the big moments today. That's exciting because that means you're in their head.
Yes, it very much is exciting, and for good reason, too. The Dodgers were able to come back, win the series during the postseason last year, and what was the most crucial series for the Dodgers? Obviously, the World Series, winning the World Series, absolutely crucial. But to get to that point, you had to go through the Padres, and that was one of, if not probably the most competitive series in the entire postseason last year between those two clubs, two of the best clubs within the entire postseason. You win that series, you go out there. San Diego, for them, this is the bar that they have to overcome to get to that next level. Is they have to, and I know it's cheesy when they say it, but ultimately they do have to beat LA if they want to get to that next level, if they want to go to the level of starting to win championships, because they have a lot of talent. That's part of that club. That is no doubt with the way that they're able to battle in this series. But the small little things that you're able to do help turn you from a team that's very talented to a team that's very talented that can get over the hump, that can win those big games. And right now, they just haven't been able to do that recently, at least in recent history, win the series that are really big and important, whether you date that back to the postseason last year or whether you're talking about a series this week in which the lead for the division, at least in mid-June, was on the line between the two clubs.
You know who has been very underrated for this club that has really done a good job in keeping this club, as you said, kind of in stall mode? I call it just staying afloat. Call it whatever you want. Use whatever terminology you want. Lou Trevino. Lou Trevino did another great job today. He's just been that next guy the Dodgers have just went and got that, you know, we're all excited about Tanner Scott and all these, Michael Cope, for very good reason because they're very talented. But then the guy like Lou Trevino is actually the guy that you look back and you go, man, I'm not sure where this group would be without what he's done for this team. And even it hasn't all been great, but I mean, at the times it wasn't great, he at least, like Matt Sauer yesterday, was at least fulfilling some type of obligation that the team needed from him for future outings. So how about Lou Trevino? Since they picked him up, today was his 5th scoreless outing in his last 6. So 5 of his last 6 outings have been scoreless. And how about scoreless in 11 of his last 13? I'm talking about Lou Trevino, not Michael Kopech. I mean, Lou Trevino has been, we got to give it up to this dude. This dude has been like rock solid. Now, as soon as I say that, probably baseball gods, that kind of deal. But to this point, I mean, Lou Trevino has been a really nice addition.
He has been a very nice addition. This is especially important because we talk about when you're in this stay afloat mode, when you're in the mode of stalling, you're going to rely upon some guys from the minor leagues, or you're going to rely upon some arms that you don't necessarily, some of the down the ballot type of arms that you don't necessarily know what you're going to get from them, and they might not be here for too terribly long. And we've seen from a lot of those guys have struggled when they've come over to the Dodgers. Some of the arms that they brought in just really haven't been able to perform well when the Dodgers need them to be able to perform, at least to a certain degree well. And Lou Trevino has been the opposite of that. He's been one of those guys that has performed incredibly well when the Dodgers have called upon his name, to the point where, man, he's in the conversation of, you kind of want to keep him around to see how long this is going to be able to last as some of the arms start to come around and be healthy. I don't know how long they will be able to, but right now he's part of the equation where you want to see him in the mix, and he's just gone out there, as you had mentioned, lots of scoreless appearances in a row for Lou Trevino. He's been incredibly important, and I think they're going to start to continue, or at least continue to rely on him more as one of those guys that was unanticipated of an arm to come in and be successful, but he's just gone out there and performed that. And we see this each and every single year. Anthony Banda was the exact same way last year, where he was not expected to be pitching in high leverage situations during the postseason, but he was called upon that. Could we see a guy like Lou Trevino, not saying that the Dodgers necessarily want him to pitch in high leverage situations in the postseason, but if he continues to have success, man, you got to ride with some of that success.
If he's in high leverage situations in the playoffs, then you're down to about plan C or D.
Yeah.
Not saying the Dodgers can't win with plan C or D, because they've shown they can. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think it's a pretty solid fact that if Lou Trevino is pitching high leverage innings in the playoffs, then you've exhausted A, B, and C to get to that point.
Where things are at with pitching injury wise, they have taken a significant turn from the worst. Or Lou Trevino's gone on a streak where he continues to go out there and be scoreless. One of the two options have happened.
So, you know my brain, my baseball brain, as well as anybody of the Dodgers dogs out there. You've picked my brain many a times. I've picked yours. You've listened to me bitch and moan. You've listened to me talk about baseball. You know everything that comes out of my brain, right, Austin? So I need you to answer this question for me, okay? Why do I always gloss over Kirby Yates? It's like I never include him in the bullpen, and it's like my brain just never puts him in like the high leverage bullpen
high leverage arms,
when he absolutely is. I'm just asking, why has that not sunk into my brain yet?
Well, I'll give you a little bit. He has been out for a little bit. I think this is only, second or third appearance coming back from injury. And it was just a short outing for him today. Came in relief for Jack Dreyer. I was kind of a little bit surprised he didn't go back out there, but that was the part of the plan that the Dodgers had, and came in and was able to fill in just a short outing for Kirby Yates. But he absolutely should be part of the equation with what he's able to do with his swing miss stuff that he is able to generate. I think with the names that are part of this bullpen, and with the success that we've seen from some guys like an Anthony Banda, who came up really clutch during the game today, getting Luis Arias and getting Manny Machado out during that seventh inning. With guys like him, with guys like Tanner Scott performing really well, with Alex Vesia making a lot of moves. There's just a lot of really good arms that are part of the bullpen that all of a sudden an arm like Kirby Yates just gets overlooked, because there's times when he goes out there, kind of just quiet, does his thing, is able to be successful. Kirby Yates, I don't think should get overlooked, though, with what he's able to provide, especially if Michael Kopech very much is shaky, which if his rehab starts or rehab appearances in Oklahoma City are any indication of what is to come, very well could be very much a question of what's going to happen going forward for Michael Kopech. Having a high leverage right-handed reliever like a Kirby Yates be part of that, one of your main high leverage right-handed reliever, your main high leverage right-handed reliever with Ben Kasparius moving more towards the starter role. He should not get overlooked, and there's going to be lots of opportunities for him going forward late in games.
Totally agree. Hey, this is right here. They're seeing on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and click play, and I'm going to put the virtual camera on here, Austin, so you can, let me actually start the virtual camera and then head to it here. This is the outing today from Landon Knack. Get used to it, Dodgers fans. He is going to be back up, and he's going to play a significant role while the Dodgers are trying to stay afloat till they can gather some more reinforcements in the pitching staff. So it is very important. So, like, the last couple days I posted about Jackson Ferris and his not good outing last night. I posted about Bobby Miller and his horrific outing last night. And I wanted to throw up in my mouth the whole time I was doing it, because I just don't cover outings like that. I did it anyways, because I feel like the Dodgers are in a mode to where they're searching for more pitching constantly. So I feel like it's very important to be honest right now with Dodgers fans. Who is it that the Dodgers really need to go get from the AAA team or the AA team that actually is ready to come to LA? Well, the only way I can do that is if I cover both the good and the bad. Does that make sense to you, Austin? That's the only honest way I can do it.
Yep.
So I hope Bobby doesn't get frustrated with me whenever I posted about last night's. I tried to put it in as positive spin and supportive spin as I could. I hope Jackson, he probably didn't care, but I hope he doesn't think I'm trying to throw him under the bus. I'm just simply trying to be honest with Dodgers fans. Here are your options. Here's where they're at. Here's what's happening with them. Are you following what I'm saying here, Austin?
Yeah, so we do our best to be able to provide the most positive outlook that we can, but we also have to provide a realistic output when it becomes a absolute necessity for the Dodgers, which right now pitching and pitching depth within the organization is an absolute necessity for the Major League club to be successful.
So I say that to say this is Landon Knack here. This is his today's outing. And Landon Knack, I'm going to just say it straight up. He gave up, what was it? He gave up four runs in 5 innings. And you might say, well, damn, that's not very good. Albuquerque is a huge yard because it's up in elevation. I can tell you, I've seen many really good Major League pitchers go to Albuquerque and give up like 10 runs. Yes. I mean, typically speaking, like the Albuquerque series is like the week that everybody dreads. Not because it's not a beautiful place or you see it's a beautiful ballpark. Just because every game, I mean, like a couple of years ago, like out of the 6-game series, like 4 of them were like 16-14. So honestly, to be honest with you, Landon Knack, he gave up no runs through the first 3 innings. He had just given up 2 runs through the first 5 innings. And then he went back out in the 6th and gave up a home run and ended up giving up the 4 runs. All in all, considering the elements, considering the ballpark, considering the fact that he was looking really good through 5, 94 pitches, 63 strikes, 4-pitch mix. I'm not saying his outing was perfect, but I'm saying the box score is definitely very deceptive. I'm going to go ahead and put Landon Knack's outing today in the anywhere from solid to maybe even good category, as weird as that sounds, just because the elements, and that sky was high. I'm telling you, the Comets missed, like, between both teams, there was like 4 pop-ups that the fielders just didn't catch because the sun was so bright. I mean, you needed a welder's mask. So elements I'll put together. Would you agree? Solid to good. Is that too Pollyannish?
No, I think that's probably right. What did he have? 8 strikeouts on the day today. Was able to get a little bit of swing and miss, which is what you're looking for a little bit. Which that's not exactly the type of pitcher that Landon Knack is. But when you have a day like this, when you're in Albuquerque, when the fielders really couldn't see any sort of fly balls, it was actually I had the game on a little bit while I was working, and it got to a point where it was a little bit amusing at times, just with how tricky the sky was over there, and then how much ground that they have to cover as well. Look, Landon Knack, it has been a struggle for him at the Major League level at times this season. We've seen some signs of success, but we've seen some other times when Landon Knack has struggled a little bit this season. He still is going to remain a crucial part of being able to provide innings for the Major League club. He will be back in Los Angeles pitching crucial innings. So these times that he's down in Oklahoma City where he's working on some things, perhaps trying to tweak a couple things, get some success, get the ball rolling, those 8 strikeouts in the appearance that he was at, able to provide length for Oklahoma City as well, is very good signs of here at the Dodgers. He's going to be back. The Dodgers, when they are in this mode, are going to rely on all hands on deck, and this, out of all the different options, is not too bad of an option for the Dodgers to be able to have.
He will be back, and I don't think he's down because the Dodgers sent him down like to work on anything. He's down because they needed a fresh arm. Yes. And so the only way to get a fresh arm up there was to send Landon Knack down, and once you go down, you got to stay down for 10 days. So I fully expect his next start to be with Los Angeles. I'm not saying I have any inside information on that. It could be one more start with Oklahoma City. It could be 5. I don't know. Who knows how. What were we saying, Austin?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't remember if they have to stay down 10 or 15 days down at the minor league level. That would be the only thing that would be holding Landon Knack back from making another start shortly or making his next start at the major league level, is if he doesn't reach the number of days that he has to stay down at the minor league level. But very soon, within the next couple of weeks or so, we're likely to see Landon Knack back at the major league level because the Dodgers are going to try to get as many fresh arms as they possibly can to the major league club, and Landon Knack has the ability to be able to provide the Dodgers innings, which right now that is crucial for the Dodgers.
10 days for position players, 15 days for pitchers. So good catch there. So another guy that could possibly bring you some depth through today, Noah Davis. This is a guy right here that we've already seen at the major league level, and he had a good outing today, 1.1 innings. Now, the reason why Landon Knack will be back up probably before, maybe not before, but why I'm more confident he'll be back than I am Noah Davis is because Landon Knack can go out there and give you 6 innings. Noah Davis, 1 1/3 innings. That's not necessarily what the Dodgers need right now. What they need is length, right? But hey, 1 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 strikeout, no walks. And Noah Davis has gone scoreless in 4 outings in a row, one being against the Yankees. We saw him in the major leagues a couple of Sundays ago. One of those outings was in the major leagues. He threw his cutter, sweeper, sinker, screwball. So what do you see for the future of Noah Davis in the immediate?
Yeah, I think if this was 3 weeks ago, there would have been much more of a need right now for Noah Davis. Where he is right now, I think they're in evaluation process of where the bullpen is at. If Ben Kasparius makes the transition to the starting pitching rotation and is able to provide the Dodgers more length, and as he gets built up with innings, I think that can open up potentially more opportunities for a guy like a Noah Davis, which you are seeing with Ben Kasparius. That if that's the case, you're removing one of the guys out of your bullpen. That potentially opens up an additional spot that you could throw somebody else in there. With him right now, though, the Dodgers need guys that can provide length, they can provide innings, and I think that's a complicated factor for a lot of guys that are down in Oklahoma City right now is the guys that are able to provide length. Either they're already calling up, they're already using with guys like a Justin Robleski, guys like a Matt Sauer, or guys like a Landon Knack that they've used. Or there's a lot of arms that are down there that are 1 to 2 inning type of pitchers, which I don't think they're exactly looking for right now, at least until Ben Kasparius is built up to go a little bit longer in the games. Then you could see opportunities pop up, or if unfortunately, which this is not something that I want to happen, but something that very well could happen, if there is an injury that pops up, because Noah Davis is on the 40-man roster, I think you will probably see him at some point again in the 2025 season. Let's hope that it does not come because of injury, though.
I think this guy right here, Nick Frosto, I think he's ready. I really think the Dodgers moved him to a pin role about a month ago. I covered this on the Down the Farm earlier today. The first couple of relief outings weren't good, but he's adjusted to that. He is a guy, to me, Nick Frosto, that could take over the role that Ben Kasparius had, which is a guy that, yes, he's a relief guy, he's a bullpen guy, but he's also a bullpen guy that can give you 3 or 4 innings. I think Nick Frosto could step right into that role that Ben Kasparius left by becoming a starter. And this is the first time all year I'm willing to say I think he's ready. You see that nice little slider? The fastball, here's why I say that. Slider was good. The command was good. The fastball sat 95. It was 94 to 96. 3 weeks ago, the fastball was 92, 93. So not that velo is the end-all everything, but for a guy like Nick Frosto, he's got to be able to throw that pitch right there to the top of the zone hard enough to be able to get it. Their velo is very important for a guy like Nick Frosto. So the velo is up, the location is better, the slider is good, and I think he's in a very good role where the Dodgers could use him maybe for 1 inning, maybe for 3 innings, whatever the heck they needed him to, and he's on the 40-man roster. I think Nick Frosto is ready to get his shot at the major league level. I think he's really one to put your radar on.
Yeah, he's starting to have a little bit more success too. Last 3 outings, he's gone 2 innings or 1 2/3 innings, started to provide a little bit of length and hasn't given up a run in his last 3 outings. And I think that's in part when you add his stuff with a little bit of velo, which I think with Nick Frosto, velo helps complement his stuff and makes 100%. It much more effective than what it was previously.
Yeah, he has a power arsenal.
Yes. Very much so. And so having him early in the season, only going 92, 93 with his fastball, that's going to be something where hitters are going to be able to take advantage of that, and they're going to be able to hit it. Which you see with some of his numbers, a lot of that is from the early season when his velo was not quite there. Once his velo, and as you mentioned, this is something that's really positive, now that it's starting to ramp back up closer to what it was previously, if that continues to increase, he's going to get right back to the pitcher that he previously was. And that pitcher that he previously was really dominant. And
one of the top prospects in baseball.
Very much so. And it's not just very dominant, but he can go out there and give you 1 innings. He's very dominant and give you 2 or 3 innings. And those bulk type innings are something that the Dodgers could very well use out of the bullpen. And with him being on the 40-man roster, that makes it more of an easy choice when the Dodgers feel like he's ready and when the Dodgers need pitching to be able to turn to a guy like a Nick Frasso.
So I think we've covered the guys on the 40-man that are either ready or imminent. Landon Knack, Noah Davis, Nick Frasso. So let's go with this. Who is your out-of-the-box picks? Like if the Dodgers said, man, we need somebody tomorrow, and it doesn't have to be a guy in the 40-man, who is your out-of-the-box picks? I got a really easy one. I think you'll totally agree with me, but I am going to throw your ass under the bus, Austin, because I love doing that. You handle it so well. And I'm going to ask you a question that's impossible to answer in 30 seconds. I'm trying to give you enough time here by rambling enough to throw it through your brain, who that might be. Who is your out-of-the-box guy that can come in and save the day for the Dodgers and come in and be a relief pitcher for LA that's not on the 40-man right now?
Okay, so this is throwing in a little bit of a caveat because I was like, okay, I'm trying to wrap my mind about different pitchers and stuff that you could potentially do, but the caveat at relief pitcher perhaps throws it in a little bit.
Okay, don't make that a caveat. That doesn't have to be a caveat.
All right. So let's do a couple of different situations. I know
where you're going.
Okay, let's go with 3 outside of the box picks. Let's go with 3 outside of the box picks. We will go with the starter that seems to be having most of the success right now. And for this one, and I know he probably is not ready, but if the Dodgers desperately needed a starter and wanted to call on a guy that they were going to have to protect anyway during the Rule 5 draft next year, Peter Hubeck might be one.
That is outside the box.
That is way outside of the box.
Yes, but I like the reasoning.
Coming, and the reasoning behind him, if you look at some of Peter Hubeck's numbers, he's pitching in Double-A right now. He's just coming off a Texas League Pitcher of the Week, which is his second Texas League Pitcher of the Week. You look at some of his numbers, strikeout percentage remains really solid, I believe close to 30%. His walk percentage on the year has been cut by 5% from what it was in Great Lakes last year. Last year was about 16.5%. Now it's closer to 11.5%. You look at some of the underlying metrics, the FIP, expected FIP for Peter Hubeck, they remain incredibly solid for him. And so I think with him, obviously, I don't think he's at a point where the Dodgers want to call on Peter Hubeck. But if they were like, hey, we need a starting pitcher right now, look at some of the other arms in the system. I don't think they want to push Jackson Ferris, especially with him struggling a little bit right now. Right. Jared Karros, his strikeout percentage has dropped 12% over the course of this year.
The other way, he struggled.
It struggled quite a bit for Jared Karros, so he's not necessarily ready. So if you start going down the lines, pretty soon you get to an arm like a Peter Hubeck. And so unless you want to go with option number 2 on the pitching side, and this is way outside of the box, but would be the Hollywood movie type of scenario, man, it depends on what happens over the next couple of outings, which I know he needs a lot more than the next couple of outings at the upper levels at the minor league level. But the guy who's been perhaps pitching the best as a starter within the entire organization, Patrick Copen. That is a Hollywood movie one.
He just got moved up to Tulsa.
Yeah, he did. He just
not only is that Hollywood movie from moving all the way up, he started in Rancho, didn't he, this year?
No, he started in Great Lakes, but what the Hollywood movie type of thing, which perhaps if we're living in a movie, this would be the guy that eventually would be called up, because and we've talked about it on the show before. If you don't know the story of Patrick Copen, last year in August in Great Lakes, he was at the high level, took a line drive right back to the face, lost some of his vision in one of his eyes, currently does not have good vision out of one of his eyes, and was able to come back from that and start opening day. And not only did he start opening day, he was the most dominant pitcher in the Midwest League, especially if you go by strikeouts. He was leading this league in strikeouts by a wide margin for him. And that was a huge accomplishment for somebody who you had question marks if he was ever going to be able to make it back onto the field. You fast forward, he gets to call up to Double-A Tulsa. I believe there were some unearned runs that he had during that appearance, but his strikeout stuff remained there. So if you're looking for guys that can strike guys out, command might be a little bit iffy at times for Cope, which fair enough. He does, as far as his vision
power
isn't completely
profile.
there right now. I don't blame that at all on him.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the Hollywood movie thing, the comeback type of story, I mean, what better story could you possibly write than that? Not saying that it's going to happen, but if the Dodgers desperately needed arms, and if they were looking for a way outside the box type of pick with a guy who's been successful, this could be one.
If you're going with the upside pick, like, hey, let's just screw it. Let's just go with the guy who, if he executes, he's going to get outs because he has upside. So you said you had 3?
Okay, so this was a relief pitcher, and okay, so let's go with the guy that I don't know, and I tweeted about him earlier today. I have no idea what to make of this because there is so much conflicting stuff going on with the numbers, and this would be very much a risky pick because it is if he misses with some of his stuff, at least with any indication of what's happened this year, it's going to be hit pretty hard. But I don't know exactly what the conflicting numbers for Jose Rodriguez, who I've talked about a lot, remain fascinating for me. So
that's because he's in the PCL.
Well, yes. So and this is a good indication of just looking by ERA doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. So if you look at his
for him, it never does for him.
If you look at the ERA for him, it has not been good this year. It's 8-something for Jose Rodriguez. He's given up a lot of home runs. The batting average in balls in play is close to 400, which means that a lot of times when hitters are putting it in play, they are getting on base.
You know what that means? That means he's getting behind in the count, and that means he's having to serve it up and serve pitches that there's a lot of major league guys in AAA level. That tells me when a guy that has as good as stuff, you see, look at that, as good as stuff, over 7-foot extension, guys as talented as Jose Rodriguez, when they're getting banged around like he has, that tells me they're not throwing strikes. They're getting into hitters' counts, and hitters are teeing off on his fastball. That's what that tells me.
Which means, because here's the other side with Jose Rodriguez, is he's still, if you look at his swing and miss stuff, remains remarkable. It remains elite. If you look at, I'm just going to read some of the numbers right now because I think this is important to look at. Not that this tells the entire picture, not saying that he is ready for the big leagues. I'm just talking about
he is
outside
not.
the
I
box.
will say that.
Yes. Just looking at outside the box, 34.5% strikeout percentage. Yeah. You look at his strikeout minus walk percentage, 25.5%. That's incredible. You look at his swinging strike percentage, it's 18.6%, meaning that 18.6% of the pitches that he throws result in swing and miss. His called strike plus swinging strike percentage is at 35%, which is really, really good right now. So the swing and miss stuff remains there. Now, the batted ball stuff has not been good at all for Jose Rodriguez.
Strikes, get ahead in the count so you can get your swing and miss stuff.
So then once he is able to limit the hard contact, once he is able to execute, if he's able to remain with some of this swing and miss stuff, he could be scary. So that is not he's ready to be called up right now. That is it is so conflicting, but also utterly fascinating what's going on with some of the numbers that Jose Rodriguez is able to put up.
So you're going with guys that, hey, if he can do this, like Patrick Copen, if he can execute, if Jose Rodriguez can stay away from the hard contact, if who was your third guy?
It was Patrick Copen. It was Peter Hubeck. It was
Peter Hubeck.
Yes.
Again, he's had that up and down. If he can just stay consistent. You went with guys that are out of the box that have a lot of question marks. I'm going with the guy that has 0 question marks to this point. He is almost like Mr. Automatic, okay? Jack Little is the all-time saves leader for a career at Stanford. Stanford is as blue blood as it gets in college baseball. There have been, like Jack McDowell, and there's been how many great pitchers come through that system at Stanford, okay? So to say that he's the all-time career saves leader is elite, not good, not good. That's elite. Not only that, he's also the single season saves all-time leader at Stanford. This is a guy in Jack Little. And a matter of fact, one of his pitching coaches, not really a pitching coach, but he was around a lot. He's from Las Vegas. He went to Bishop Gorman. Was Greg Maddux. So he learned how to control the strike zone, how to set up hitters from Greg Maddux. And he's very smart, obviously. He went to Stanford. And of course, 2 years ago, he had the Tommy John, so he didn't. The reason why he's so under the radar is he didn't pitch until last year. Last year, then he kind of got ramped up a little bit and got ramped up a little bit and got ramped up a little bit. got moved up to AAA. He's not on the 40-man. I don't see any reason why Jack Little is not the next guy to get called up to Los Angeles, other than the fact that he is not on the 40-man, because he has been the best pitcher, end of discussion, for AAA Oklahoma City.
And that's a totally fair point. You look at his numbers after the outing that he had today, which actually, shout out to Oklahoma City. They came back to win the game that they had today. During the ninth inning, down 4-1, they rallied and put together a rally and were able to go out there and win. And they were called upon, Jack Little, to close out that game. 2.35 ERA on the season in Oklahoma City in a league that very much is a hitter-friendly environment. You look at the background and stuff. Part of it that you have to talk about with Jack Little is just his ability to execute, his ability to go out there and be called upon during those big moments. And if you're talking about the high leverage levers for Oklahoma City, who've had a lot of success, I mean, Jack Little is right part of that discussion. Absolutely. He should be one of, if not the top guy, at least who has been successful in Oklahoma City that they can call upon. And he's been part of the organization for quite a long time. At some point, he's going to be in. At this point, he's probably deserving of an opportunity at the big league level, too.
Sent a message to Robo today. He was supposed to be the starter today. I sent a message to him. Hey, he's such a competitive dude. Hey, man, I need you to shove it up every cavity that the Padres have tonight. And he ended up not being the starter. Oops, my bad. So that was kind of funny. Robo's such a good dude, though. Hey, and by the way, just a minute ago, this was kind of cool. I think you would like this. I've interviewed him, but I don't think I just assumed he had no clue what Dodgers Daily is. But Brewstar Gratterall just left a like on, whose post was that? One of the Oklahoma City posts. So I don't know if it just came across his deal, but that was kind of cool because I was like, I just assumed Brewstar Gratterall had no freaking clue, because whenever I interviewed him, he just happened to walk by and I was like, hey, Brewstar. And he's like, yeah, dude, no problem. Guy, like whenever I did Joe Kelly, because I mean, I'm like a minor league guy, but that's kind of, I thought that was kind of cool. I know I'm kind of being douchey about bragging about that, but I thought I would because I was pretty happy about that. So what do you think about that, Austin?
Oh no, that's insane. That type of stuff, when that stuff, because you put yourself in a situation like, who am I to do something like that stuff? But no, that sort of stuff is really cool, and it shows that guys appreciate the work that the highlight of the guys, and really a lot of it, what it is the highlight of the guys that are on the field, that are part of this organization and doing what they can on the field. And so that's just kind of a really cool element and stuff that happens sometimes here. Dodgers Dawgs, part of the Dodgers Daily Network.
Okay, man, I'm wearing down just a touch, and I'm kind of hungry, and I'm missing my wife and my two dogs as much as I love you, Austin, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. So final thoughts.
Yeah, no, today was a good day to be a Dodger. Obviously the win against the Padres, the win the series against San Diego, absolutely love seeing that happen, especially when it helps maintain the division lead for the Dodgers. The thing when they are in this mode, when they're in stall mode, or when they're in the float water type of mode, as you described, they have to try to take advantage of this series, and because they're not at full strength and they're still able to win these types of games, I think that is crucial for the success going forward for this organization to get to the place where they want to be. So that was a really good thing that we were able to see. Get to see, and I've been kind of watching it. If you see me looking down over here, that's because I have the Great Lakes game down right here as we're talking about.
Sweet lid, by the way.
Oh, yeah. No, you like that? I actually just got the new Loons blue jersey that they have, the Dodger blue jersey that they have. But actually, in the meantime, while you were gone, last week, I got to see the Eric Swan go out there and be part of the second no-hitter in Great Lakes Loons history. I saw that. The 7-inning no-hitter with him and Roque Gutierrez. And then Eric Swan's going out there and performing another good time. So there's another arm. I'm not saying that he's ready to be called up to the big leagues as hot as some of my takes were right now, but he's very excited with what he's able to do down on the farm right now. So Casey, out of all these things though, it's great to see you back again, to be able to interact with you. Glad that you're healthy enough to be able to do these shows. And it is so like you. to do these shows, but not just to be content with, I'm just going to do one show today. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do double decker. I'm going to do double header. I'm going to go out there and do a show in the morning. And you know what? I'm healthy enough. I'm fine. I'm going to go ahead and do a show in the evening as well.
Got to take advantage of it when you feel like doing it. There's no doubt about it. Hey, you'll find out one of these days getting old's a bitch, Austin. It absolutely is. So, hey, that's going to do it for today's show. Austin, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
To all you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there, you know it. You guys are the absolute best baseball crowd out there, no doubt about it. So till next time, which will be hopefully tomorrow morning with Mark Watkins, hopefully Austin and I can get together with one of these live shows again here before too long, hopefully maybe even this week. So until that time, just another reminder, as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.